Hello PokeMoshPit, it is an absolute privilege to be uploading for you guys today. My name is OhMaArceus and this is a UU match I had against KosherRyan. Now if you guys have some spare time, please be sure to check out both of our channels, the links are in the description. But moving on to the battle. As I do with most of my battles, for those of you who haven't really seen any of my videos, I like to bring just random pokes that have some sort of synergy together, both defensively and offensively, but it's not really team built, so I do have a defensive core plus 4 offensive guys, which is usually what I do. And so onto the battle. He's going to lead with his Darmanitan. I'm going to lead with Heracross. I can't stay in because I know their Flareblitz will take me out in one shot. So I'm going to have to play it safe, go into Slowbro. Even if he U-turns, U-turn is not going to be doing that much to a Slowbro just because it's not stab and he's probably scarfed. But he actually goes for Flareblitz, which is even better for me because he gets a little bit of recoil and he does less damage. But now I'm pretty sure that he's scarfed like most Darmanitans are. So I'm going to predict him to switch out and switch into Zapdos. Now the reason I switched into Zapdos over anything else is because I can go for that Scarf Volt switch and just scout, and if it does turn out that he switches into Claydol, then I can switch accordingly because I have a lot of checks to Claydol. But I'm going to go for the Volt switch. He's going to stay in, and I'm going to go into my Heracross and threaten him out with the Mega Horn. Now he goes for Leech Seed, and this tells me that he's probably a bulky set, probably with no speed investment. So I'm thinking, even though I'm adamant choice banded Heracross, I can outspeed him and hit him with the Mega Horn. But he is going to protect, and now he knows that I'm locked into the Mega Horn, and he is most likely going to switch accordingly. So I'm going to predict a switch into something to take the Mega Horn. I'm not exactly sure what. I was thinking it might have been Zapdos, or it might have been Suicune. I wasn't really sure, but I'm just going to go into my own Zapdos anyway. And now, we both switch out on the same turn, but I switch out first, which does tell me that I am in fact faster than him. So that's good information to know at this point in the game, just in case there is that matchup again. But he does switch into Suicune as I switch into my Zapdos, and that's good for me, but I am going to predict a switch of some sort because there's no way he's going to be staying in, so I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Ice as he switches into Rotom, which does wall my Zapdos completely, so I do have to switch out. And of course I am locked into Hidden Power Ice, so that's another reason to switch out. But I am going to go into my Registeel predicting a Volt switch, just because I have no ground type Pokemon on my team and he might want switch initiative. I'm going to risk the overheat, and it does go for the Volt switch, which is good for me because it means he didn't go for overheat. And he's going to go into his Claydol now. And at this point I'm a little bit worried because I don't know what this Claydol is going to do. It's going to set up rocks, it's probably got Rapid Spin. But as for the other two moves, I'm not really sure. It's probably got Earth Power like most standard Claydol sets, but he does set up the rocks, of course, and here he was probably fearing the Mega Horn, and I'm actually going to predict a switch into Zapdos because Zapdos resists both close combat and the Mega Horn. So I go for this Stone Edge, but he actually switches into Suicune, which does take it pretty nicely considering it's choice banded and all that. But I am going to have to switch out now. Even though I feel like a Scald might be coming, I will outspeed the Suicune, so I can't just be going for Stone Edge again because there's really no point. So I'm going to go into Zapdos, which in hindsight was not the best play because now the Scald knocks it down to a point where I can only switch in one more time before I die to rocks. So I've got to make this time and the next time count. So I'm just going to smack something with a Thunderbolt. I'm pretty sure he's not going to switch into Claydol, and he actually switches into his Rotom again. And it does just enough HP to the point where I'm really tempted to just go for another one and try and knock it out. So I do go for this Thunderbolt again, and it doesn't quite kill it. It probably lives with about 1 HP. I don't know, but he does miss the overheat, which is really unfortunate for him because that would have killed my Zapdos easily. And I'm just going to go for another Thunderbolt just to be safe, and he does switch back into Claydol to absorb it nicely because of the immunity. And I'm going to go into Empoleon now. And at this point, I was a bit confused about this set because he runs Psychic, and I'm thinking, okay, fair enough, he has Psychic, it's good stab. Now he goes for Grass Knot. I'm thinking, why would you run Grass Knot, Psychic, and Stealth Rock? Is your last move Rapid Spin or is it Earth Power? I'm a little bit confused why he would run Grass Knot over Earth Power. But I'm just going to go for a Surf. It's going to almost take it out. And I'm thinking at this point, I probably should just go for the Ice Beam in case he switches something else in to take this Surf. But what I should have done was set up rocks right now and then take him out the next turn so that his Rotom Heat is actually pretty much useless and it'll limit the amount of times that his Darmanitan can switch in. But I didn't set up rocks and I did go for the Ice Beam, and that is not fantastic for me because it means that his Rotom Heat can come in, can go for a Volt Switch safely, and it'll take out my Empoleon. He does go back into his Darmanitan, and I'm going to go into my Azumarill because I know a choice banded Aquajet can take out Darmanitan from full health. So I'm just going to go for the Aquajet. No need to predict right now because I don't want my Azumarill to die to a Superpower or Earthquake or something like that. So I'm going to go for the Aquajet. He does switch into Suicune, takes it like a champ. And so now I am going to have to switch out because I am locked into Aqua Jet. There is nothing I can do about that. And I'm just going to switch into my Registeel because I'm pretty sure I can wall him. And he actually goes for the Calm Mind. So at this point I'm a bit concerned that he has Rest, and I can't switch in my Zapdos because I know he can easily switch out, and if I keep switching in Zapdos, the Stealth Rocks will just kill me. So I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave, which hopefully down the track will force him to rest. And so I can abuse that somehow with my Heracross or something else. But he actually does switch out, which tells me that either he doesn't have anything to hit me with, or he didn't want to take a Thunder Wave. So I'm not really sure right now. Maybe he was predicting a Toxic, I really don't know. But I am just going to go for a Seismic Toss now. I still can't set up my Rocks, because if I do set up my Rocks and he does hit me with an Overheat, that is going to be the end of my Registeel, which I do not need right now. And because he sends Diamantine back in, I can't set up my Rocks. I do have to switch out into my Slowbro to take whatever hit he has, which in this case is Earthquake, and I take it really nicely. And I know I can take more of this, so I know I can stay in and just go for a Toxic. And if he does in fact switch out, then anything he switches into will get Toxic, and there's nothing to get a boost from that, you know, Guts Boost, Heracross, or something like that. And he'll switch out to Shaman, which is a bit disappointing because he has the Natural Cure and he can just switch out. But I can't stand on the Shaman because it probably has Seed Flare, and that will probably ruin my day. So I'm going to switch out now into my Registeel because I can take a Seed Flare, and if he does predict I can go for the Earth Power, then it's not too big a deal. I mean, I can deal with it somehow. But he actually just goes straight for Leech Seed. So the way he's been playing the Shaman, I sort of get the feeling that every time he sends it in, he's just going to go straight for Leech Seed every single time. So I'm going to keep that in mind for the time being. Now, I feel like this is a good opportunity for me to set up my Rocks, because he might actually go for the Protect, just to see what I'm going to do or something, because I know he has the Protect. So I finally get up my Rocks after he Seed Flares, which in my opinion was a bit of a questionable move. I don't know why you would Seed Flare, but it does tell me that it doesn't have the Earth Power, so that is good to know. Definitely good information. And my Rocks are up, and at this point, Leech Seed is just whittling me down very quickly, so I am going to have to switch out. And I actually switch out on the same turn that he switches out. He's going to go into his Zapdos as I go into my Heracross, and because of the fact that I put Rocks up, it really does help me, because it allows me to see the fact that he has leftovers, which does tell me also that he is most likely a defensive build, and for that reason I'll probably outspeed him, even though I have an Adamant Nature and a Choice Band. So I'm going to go for the Stone Edge. Because of the fact that I'm Choice Banded, it will take it out with a crit. Now, I'm not sure how much this mattered. If he was a specially defensive Zapdos, it was a clean one-hit KO. If he was a physically defensive Zapdos, there was a chance that he could live that without the crit. But it doesn't matter, the Zapdos is down, what's done is done. He brings in his Diamantine, I am going to have to go back into my Slowbro like I do every single time. And he goes for the U-turn, and like I said, U-turn is not going to be doing that much. It doesn't even do a third, I think. So he does get a chance to go back into a Shaman. Now, like I said before, I'm predicting a Leech Seed, because that's what he's been doing every single time. So I'm going to stay in, and I'm going to go for the Fire Blast. I do carry the Fire Blast on this Slowbro, just for a Scavalier, just to, you know, surprise, whatever, blah blah blah. And he goes for the Psychic, which was very interesting, because I don't know why you would carry Psychic over Earth Power or something like that, but I guess it does help with Heracross. So I can sort of understand that, but because I missed the Fire Blast, I'm going to have to switch out because I think he's going to Seed Flare me now. But he doesn't, he actually goes for the Leech Seed. So I am definitely very confused at this point at the way he's playing this Shaman. Maybe he was predicting my switch, he probably was predicting my switch, to be totally honest. But he does miss the Leech Seed, and he goes for a Seed Flare now, which again, I'm not sure why. This set of plays by my opponent really did confuse me, because there was really no reason to do what he did. But I am going to get off the T-Wave, and next turn I'm just going to Seismic Toss. I really want to just get some solid damage on this thing, because it's really being a nuisance. And just looking at the damage that Seismic Toss does right here, it tells me that he's definitely max HP. I don't know whether he's physically defensive or specially defensive, but it doesn't matter if I'm Seismic Tossing, to be honest. So he actually got Power Hacks right there, which didn't end up mattering, because after I Seismic Toss him again, he actually goes for the Psychic. Now, why you would go for Psychic on Registeel, I'm not sure. Maybe he was predicting my switch to Heracross, but honestly, I'm not really sure why he did that. And I'm just going to go for one more Seismic Toss here, just because I want to keep getting damage on this thing, and maybe he's going to keep going for Seed Flare or Psychic, I really don't know. But he actually goes into Diamantine now, and after Rocks and Seismic Toss, he can't switch out and in again. So I know he's going to stay in, I know he's going to Flare Blitz because that's his hardest hitting move. It'll hit something on my team reasonably hard. So I'm just going to go into Slowbro like I do every single time, like I've said many times, and it's just going to sponge the hit very nicely. Now, if I carried Slack Off, which I don't, I used to carry Slack Off, but I got rid of it because I never really used it. But because of the fact that I don't have Slack Off, I am going to have to switch out here because I want to keep my Slowbro at a high amount of HP so that he can take on the rest of his guys if need be. So I'm going to switch into my Azumarill because Azumarill doesn't really have a purpose on this team anymore now that Damanitan's going to die, because all he's got left is Suicune and Shaman, neither of which Azumarill can really do anything to. So I'm just going to leave it in as a sacrifice. As he goes out into his Shaman, I'm just going to go for the Double Edge in the off chance that he maybe Leech Seeds or something, predicting a switch. But he just goes straight for Seed Flare, it's going to take me out easily. And now I have a chance to switch in Zapdos and take out the Shaman with a Heat Wave. Now the problem with this was I was really scared that he was actually going to predict the Heat Wave and go into Suicune, and hence my Zapdos would also be dead because there's no reason to keep Zapdos locked in on Heat Wave on a Suicune, so I'd have to switch it out and then I wouldn't be able to switch it back in. But he stays in, and I take out the Shaman with the Heat Wave, and now all he's got left is Suicune. I'm just going to switch out right now. There's no point staying in, he's just going to keep Calm Minding, probably. So I'm going to go into my Heracross, which I'm pretty sure can take it out with the close combat. And he's actually going to go for the Calm Mind. I was actually kind of hoping he was going to Scald, and maybe get a Scald Burn, and if I live all that, then it's a sure kill. But he goes for Calm Mind because it's really his only chance at the moment. And I'm just going to go for the close combat. I do outspeed because I know that Suicunes are bulky and rarely have any speed investment. So close combat is a clean KO. That is his last Pokemon, so that is going to be the game. So good game, KosherRyan. Thank you to all of you for watching this video. And if you have some time, please be sure to check out my channel and my opponent's channel. Subscribe to the Mosh Pit if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll be seeing you all around.